All right. We're moving the ball pretty quickly. Moving the ball. That's a good play on words. Chapter 357, just after the death match. So the aftermath of everything. Honestly, that fight. Oh my gosh. It was so complicated that even though I read it like freaking like a year or 2 years ago, I still forgot like how Crollo wins. I still forgot how Crollo wins, but it was so impressive. I'll give him that. That was pretty good. It's still pretty lit. I'm standing here just hundreds of meters away from ground zero, where a massive explosion has just gone off in Heaven's Arena. Got the ambulance coming in. There are droves of fire engines and paramedics all swarming around the area, rushing back and forth. It's almost like a war zone. Hey, I won't lie. I mean, I don't think Crollo killed a lot of civilians. he, when I first watched this, I always thought that like Crollo was just. I might not have read it. I might not have read it that thoroughly because I thought Crollo was just throwing civilians, and I thought that Crollo actually killed the announcer, like the announcer lady. But actually, she was fine, as we saw the last episode. It was just Crollo saying "break Ahsoka" into the microphone. The explosion happened right in the middle of a floormaster battle filled with spectators. It is believed that the contenders in the battle set off the bomb. Investigations are currently underway as emergency personnel rush to provide aid. The match has claimed the lives of countless victims. Well, never mind. He actually did kill a lot of innocent people. That of one is that is including one of its participants, Hisoka. We will continue to update you as more information is received. Kind of expected him to have taken more damage than this. Before the explosive puppets could get close to him, he was swarmed by 200 other puppets that had received the command to break. It seems they ended up serving to cushion him from the explosion somewhat. The wall of flesh piled on top of him, along with the explosion, caused the oxygen deprivation, which resulted in his death, suffocation. I forgot how explosions work. How do explosions work again? From a chemical perspective? Damn. I wish I forgot. I forgot how explosions work. You're not coming back with us, Machi. Oh wait, yeah. Oh yeah. It doesn't like fire like suck in air, like it sucks in air. So that's why it's impossible to breathe. Like fire sucks in air, or fire sucks in water, or something like that. You're not coming back with us, Machi. We've already we have already more than adequately confirmed his death. Well, he did pay me in advance, after all. I'm just gonna stitch him up a bit, then I'll be coming along. I don't see why Machi has to go to all the trouble. I mean, he was fighting the boss. Well, you know how Machi is after all is said and done. She's a real softie. Right then. Well, catch up with you later. Okay. Stitched up. The wounds around his neck really are severe. And I guess I should clean up his face too. This is a thank you for helping me with the boss's Nin exorcism. is aura? Impossible. Soka is dead as a doornail. It can't be. Then that becomes stronger after death. Grabbing his heart a little bit. Croak, squeech. Well, if I'm gonna die, I might as well try this out. Oh, my rubber nen. After I'm dead, come back to life, along with my heart and lungs. Cradle them, caress them, then expand and contract. That man's jumping into the air. Yo, Machi. Was I really truly dead just now? Dead as disco, thoroughly and utterly dead. I see. Coo 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 coo. Coo 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 coo. Coo 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 coo. I guess I guess fighting against someone of Krollo's caliber while being swarmed by other opponents was a bit more than I could chew. Reality sure knows how to give you a wake up call. Death. Well, if you learned your lesson from this, the next time make sure to choose your opponent and location you fight and choose your opponent and the location you fight in more carefully. Sit down, I'll stitch you up. No thanks, I'm fine. Using my gum, I'll stop the bleeding. The parts that were destroyed. And with texture surprise, the parts that were destroyed can be reproduced. Even my left hand can be molded out of rubber. And then a dash of texture surprise. Even my right foot appears to be as good as new. I see. Then you don't need me, do you? I'll be heading back. I will say that this is still very prideful. Like he still believes so much in his own abilities that he's not willing to take the proper precautions, which is to get stitched up to get help. But he's really going to be walking around like an actual zombie. So probably whenever he fights Crollo again, he's gonna have his he's probably gonna show his zombie face and he's gonna look pretty demented. Machi, you've got it backwards. This time I've decided to make sure it's my opponents who can't decide who it is or where they'll have to fight. I see, whatever makes you happy. I'm talking about the spiders. He grabs her. He grabs her. Ahsoka lets go and then stitches her feet. Would you pass this along to all the spiders for me? That as long as of now, no matter where they go or whoever they are with, I won't stop until I've killed all of them. Killed them all. Don't you dare fuck around with me. I'll kill you myself right now. Can I take that as a yes? Wait, get back here, you bastard. Let me out of this. I'm gonna fucking murder you. Excuse me, who do you think I am? If you want to stop me, how about you free yourself and try? Dang, that's disrespectful. It's because he doesn't want to fight her. He doesn't want to fight her yet. He probably wants to make her mad after like killing a bunch of people, and then he's gonna probably attack her. Yeah, it's the Cock and Royal family. Right now, they're accepting passengers from the general public. The king and the princes are heading for the new continent, but it seems like there's immensely valuable treasure involved, which they'll which they should be keeping on the ship. We'll be taking it. We'll also get to travel, so it'll be killing two birds with one stone, I suppose. I don't have the antennas anymore, but do you need your cell phone back? It's okay, I don't really have any plans to use it right now. I see then. I'll give it to you on the ship. Okay. It's been a while since the whole troop's gotten together. Cortop Cortopi. Oh man. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, I think my camera's frozen. Let me reset this real quick. There we go. There we go. My beautiful face. Cortopi sure is taking a while. Maybe he's taking a crap. Soka comes out with his head. Squish, reach. Cortopi. 10 more to go. What did he even do here? He was just distraught. Oh man. Very sad death, man. That's two Phantom Troop members. What was Cortopi's ability even? I think she wasn't that the one that was making copies or whatever? Oh yeah, that's Crollo that's the ability Crollo was using to use it to make the copies, and that's that guy's ability. And Shalnark got the phone, so he basically just killed the two people who were responsible for his death. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good get back. I'm not gonna lie, especially considering that like they're the reason why he even died in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, at long last, the day has finally arrived. Humanity prepares to expand its horizons even further as it embarks anew. On its journey to the new continent, let the Eve's festives come commence. I am honored to be in presence of living witnesses of a great chapter in history. From here on out, every single thing you will experience will be history. That's right, you yourselves will be part of history. Well, then, without a further ado, let me introduce the great giant who realized this modern day arc, our very own king, Nasubi Hueguoro. There you go. You got the king out there. He got all his riches and his hat, his little hat, his little belt, his shoes, and this little covering here. I've only got one thing I want to say. Way. I am the great king of Kaken, and together we will claim the new continent. That man's really gonna colonize an entire civilization, if they even have a civilization there. King, king, king. On the second stage, we have our second in command, Master Beyond, and the prince is related to the great king by blood. They all await the very first step on this historic voyage. Fourth prince, first prince, fifth prince, or fourth prince, I forgot. I think it's fifth. Oh yeah, fifth prince. And these two look similar, and maybe they're related. Second prince, Camilla. Miss Tyson. When I was in contact with Seredenich, I wonder just how many will be left by tomorrow's ceremony. Whatever the one who wins in the end will be me. All you ignorant insects, look up, look well upon me. It is I who will be next king. It just might be me. And now at last, the airship that the king is aboard is heading for the black whale. There it goes. With his very own life on the line, our king is going to lead the way for his people to the untrodden lands. Has anyone like this ever existed before? No, never. Our great king now heading onto the fittingly great ship right this very great moment. Hey, they have a good PR team. That's a pretty good. They're making me pretty hype. What a great arrival, so full of greatness. Oh, it is so great. Ladies and gentlemen. And now the airships containing the princes and the VIPs are heading there one after the other. Also on the water, the general passengers have now begun heading to the Black Whale by ferry. What do you think of this world? This is greatness. For such a great occasion, we too must enjoy ourselves. Let's celebrate. Hmm. At least the spokesperson, isn't this the prince? Oh, it's not the prince, because isn't the prince up here? Oh, no, he's not. No, I think they're just performers. Yeah, they're performers. But hey, they're actually getting people hype. I can see how people are pretty hype. All right, this is probably gonna be an important chapter. I just saw a little bit of the stuff down here. All right. So, oh my gosh, I gotta look pretty closely. I'm actually have to move my freaking camera in more. There we go. Let's leave it like that. So these are the VIPs and the princes. The Black Whale has 5 decks. The first deck houses the royal family and the V5's political VIPs. And the V5's political. Oh, yeah, so that. And the second deck houses various celebrities and prominent figures, as well as the wealthy and upper class. The third deck and below is for general public and regular passengers. The connecting pathways to each of the decks is being guarded by the royal troops and is being treated as under martial law. So there's different ways to get up here. It doesn't seem like there's stairs. So is there like a hatch? Is there like a hatch or something? But those hatches are guarded by martial law, I'm assuming. Furthermore, the second and third deck are completely cut off from each other by massive thick walls. During emergencies, they can be opened and shut only from the second floor. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So this is the way it's cut off. It's cut off by this giant door here that can only be opened from the second floor. And then these are, I'm assuming these are, oh, maybe, I don't know. The floor is basically the walls, I'm assuming. I don't think they're showing us anything specific. Therefore, the hunting grounds are restricted to the first and second deck only. Within the ship, maintain calm and composure. The real party begins in 2 months after the landfall ceremony is completed. Until then, we are not soldiers but guards. Constantly being on the edge of our seats, ready at a moment's notice, and waiting for the first Prince Benjamin's orders to act on our assault plan is going to be strenuous. Each of the prince's residential quarters is very strictly sectioned off, in order for them to handle everything that has to do with their daily life. Contact with their guards is to be kept to a minimum. So the princes are going to be pretty busy. And this is Prince Benjamin's squad. It's going to be hard to remember their faces, but they look pretty evil. So this is Prince Benjamin's royal guards. All the princes have planned to meet together every Sunday along with their guests for a dinner banquet. The times that each prince will enter and exit has also been decided so that no two princes will cross each other's paths in transit. Which means that we will have no chance whatsoever here. In fact, we may be spending the entire time pent up like this. So Benjamin's not giving any orders to like go kill some people, to go kill his siblings. He's seemingly maintaining composure and diplomacy. And yeah, or civility in some regards. Being a higher ranked bodyguard will be convenient. Let's use that chance to search for a way to escape the succession war. Yes. Is it possible to contact the other queens and princes using the phones within the ship? The lower wives cannot call the wives above them. On top of that, the phones should be guarded by troops. The royal troops that are watching over the succession war from a neutral standpoint are monitoring all the passageways. In other words, they're going to be aware of all of our movements. So they're monitoring all communications between the princes, all communications uh between the various bodyguards and whatnot. It seems like they had planned to they have like some method of communication where they know the royal what you call it, the schedules of the princes. So there must be somebody here who has all this information. So I'm assuming whoever has all this information is very powerful, or maybe it's sectioned off, and who knows. But that person could be useful for Kurapika if he could figure that out. It would seem assassination has been made completely impossible. I don't really understand exactly what the king's motive is here. Of course, even within the circumstances, there are plenty of ways around and out. But once you take the essence of nin users into account, the possibilities become endless. First of all, I need to get a read on the enemy's battle strength so I can gauge the balance of power and where we stand presently. I don't know anything apart from how much security personnel each of the princes has. Even excluding the possibility of nin users existing in the mix, our battle strength is scarce. Even the hunters in charge of security outside the residential quarters may not be our allies, which makes them threats. At the time of the tests, we didn't learn of any ulterior motives or plans from the Kaken examinees, and most of Kaken's bodyguards even slipped past my chain test. Limited hunter qualifications were given out for the period of this voyage to the Dark Continent, in order to have more friendly bodyguards aboard. But it seems the Dark Continent Committee making the examinations lax may have backfired on us. Which means outside of the king's residential quarters on the first deck, there are around 150 temporary hunters concealing some kind of ulterior mission prowling around. So there's 150 hunters that were grabbed from the hunter exam, some of which may be threats. Okay, that's a lot of freaking abilities. Although the second hunter bylaw escaped a recent reformation by the hunters bylaws, it was reformed to allow for temporary members. Compared to the risk of strictly selecting people based on certain criteria, this kind of wishy-washy amendment that allowed certain factors to enter the mix greatly increases the possibilities of events transpiring that are beyond expectation. Okay? So basically, it seemed like this law was intended to um, honestly make this voyage even less safe than what it already is. I mean, I feel like there should have been some other way to recruit people because like this is clearly just corruption. But I guess the princes already chose their bodyguards. The princes were choosing bodyguards. I guess I don't know. Oh, they also have to vet them, so they kind of had to take an exam and some form of examination. It kind of does make sense. On top of that, when I was in contact with Seredinich, I sensed feelings of a blood-drenched royal succession war. Was that just me being nervous, or was it something completely else? Kurapika, is that you, Mizai? What's wrong? I'm devoting my attention to decks 3 through 4. The crime rate down here has picked up and gotten out of hand faster than we had ever anticipated. From forged tickets, theft and robbery, fighting and arguments, brawls, all the way to identity fraud, larceny, assault, and all kinds of things. On top of having to investigate tons of false reports, it's utterly chaos. Well, this is already not going as planned. Honestly, this is probably manufactured and probably man made. and probably intended to cause chaos. Somebody probably is doing this. It appears that some criminal ring is causing people's tickets to be rendered invalid due to the due to that person supposedly already being on the board. Was the origin of all this mess. Then the rumors even made it to people accusing others, and even the rumors made it. Shoot, slow down. Then the rumors even made it to people accusing other people of having the tickets in question. Calkins' troops aren't even dealing with this with any consistency. If this goes on, things will erupt into a total riot. Botobai and I aided the troops and the private security in taking control of the situation. That's why I won't be able to attend the Zodiac meeting prior to the departure. So there's fraud going on, there's fights going on, there's assaults, there's forgery, there's people that are getting on they're not supposed to be on. It's complete chaos. We seriously underestimated just how carelessly and sloppy Kakin would be. Their whole plan and protocol was completely meaningless, and the ones that are the worst off are the medical teams. There are 3 treatment facilities on the third deck, while the fourth deck and fifth deck only have 2 rooms, and the fifth deck doesn't even have any resident doctors. There are only 1/5 of medical facilities that they had planned, and 1/15 of the doctors available. So they didn't even finish the construction projects to even make this trip as seamless as possible. They're kind of probably just rejecting the peasants or whatever. I mean, this is pretty honest, low key. They don't really care about them. They only care about colonizing the continent and taking their resources. There are 3 treatment facilities on the third deck, while the fourth deck and fifth deck only have 2 rooms. And the fifth deck doesn't even have any resident doctors. Man, that's trash, man. Damn, so the freaking medical staff is gonna be freaking working overtime. I feel bad for them, man. And what really has me disgusted is that I hear the upper floors have 1 doctor for every 20 people. Oh yeah, that's just blatant corruption. It can't be helped. Cheeto was right in the middle of doing everything possible to refill and recruit staff. With the way things are going, the meeting is likely to be called off. Perhaps so. This will probably be my last communication with you before we depart. Stay on your toes and keep your eyes open. Yeah. Damn, I'll be so stressed out. Yeah, this is clearly my freaking Q's and P's and Q's would be on a 10 because this is clearly something's not right. Clearly something's not right. I might be able to make use of the timing of all the chaos below. Queen Oito. In the case the worst should happen, I prepared some escape routes we can use in case of an emergency. Allow me to share my findings with you. Emergency, are you saying that things are going to get even worse than they are right now? Well, for example, if there's a crash or riots or a fire break out, it's possible to open the gate connecting the second and third decks. If everything goes well, we might be able to slip away from the eyes of the troops and the princes and blend in with the regular passengers. Can we really do something like that? I don't know what might happen, just so I'm just preparing. So please do your best to memorize where the airships, life rafts, and flotation devices are deployed from and learn how to use them. Knowledge increases your probability of survival by a substantial amount. When it comes down to life or death, compared to not knowing what to do, knowing but being unsure if you can or not will have a striking effect on your assessment of a situation. Oh man, man, she's really stressed out. I mean, I would be too. You're honestly probably dead, low key. Your Highness, are you okay? I had prepared myself for us to die on this boat. I thought that was what I wanted, but suddenly, perhaps you should rest up for a while. While you do, I'll gather the necessary data and materials. Ah, yes, thank you. Please take the queen and the prince to their sleeping chambers. Connect me to the system's control room. Yeah, I really respect this guy. This guy's really taking control. He's really running everything. I respect him. And he did it with a quickness. He realized that he needed some information and he really got on top of it. I really respect that. I really respect that. Oh man. What's wrong? Nothing. And it is set in motion. So I'm assuming their Nembe's activating as part of the ritual, which means the succession work starts now. Alright. So we don't know much about the bodyguards. We'll probably learn more about them later, huh? I'm assuming I don't have to remember their faces. So this guy. Okay. And there's only 5 bodyguards. That's freaking, or 6. Sorry. All right. Let's pay attention. Lock in. Also, my freaking camera keeps cutting out. I just saw that right now. Now it's set in motion. They really have a whale and then they have a ship on top of a whale. Is that ship really on top of that whale? That's kind of lit, if it is. Or maybe it's just translucent. There's actually no top. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Everybody's gonna live this. Black Whale #1 sets sail. To all our passengers on board, the Black Whale is now setting off. Safety on its voyage to the sea. This ship's journey will take 2 months as it heads to the Dark Continent. For the first 3 weeks, we will be sailing through territorial waters used by normal sailing vessels, cruise ships, and fishing boats, and so on. There, we will refuel and perform one final check of the ship. In the savage, untamed waters, even more frightening than the seas are the skies. Fierce, brutal, fierce, brutal storms and tornadoes and lightning and thunder and other harsh turns of weather, in addition to all variety of flying creatures, await. And since the skies are the battleground for their turf war and never-ending struggle for existence, it can be extremely dangerous. As such, we will be unfortunately be unable to open the ship's top domes, the ship's we will unfortunately be unable to open the ship's top deck's dome. And from there we will be braving the stormy seas for another 5 weeks, until at last we arrive at the Dark Continent. I wonder if this is going to be important, the fact that they can't open the dome's top deck. Well, maybe that means escape is impossible once they can't open the dome. Or something like that, I don't know. And for the public purposes of this voyage, this continent will be the goal for the general passengers and the cock and royals. Yeah, the plan was to get the. I remember the plan is to trick the passengers that they arrived at the place, and then they're gonna take another secret trip to the actual Dark Continent. At least that's their plan, I think. That's where we'll be transferring to Morel's ship and head to the gate where the keeper is waiting. On the way there is a small island where we will establish a relay point. Nob will manage the traffic of goods and personnel. Tukyurin will handle transportation from the Dark Continent to the relay point, but my ability isn't quite as useful as Nav's. I can't travel, and my transporting ability is pretty poor. We should try to find another 2 or 3 people to help with the transportation soon. Her face is so small. Her body's so thin. How'd she get like that? She's so cute. I just want to poke her. We're currently searching, but it hasn't been easy. Beyond Cell. Do we really need 3 people standing guard over him? This is seriously a waste of personnel and resources. Then you leave if we ditch the dead weight. Everything runs better. So they really stationed the guy who's a traitor with Beyond Netero? That's actually literally crazy. In case of an emergency, they probably want multiple Zodiac members on the first and second decks. But there's no merit in him escaping to the upper deck. Having 3 people guard Beyond is just too much. Alright, keep going. Let's decide on a rotation and propose it to Mizai to have one of us support the royal troops. Hmm. You still reading? Haven't you memorized it all by now? You should all read up on this labyrinth city that we're heading to. If I die, one of you is going to have to step up and take my place as the head undersecretary. As if that'd ever happen. Besides, if you died, it'd be way after all of us do. Not to mention there's full-scale support and security from the Hunters Association, so there won't be any problems. Although not included officially, the current head of the International Sea Travel Permission Bureau is one of the sole survivors. I don't think we knew that, right? And besides, you're pretty much a living endorsement in backing up Beyond's accomplishments. So we're totally safe. The director told you the same thing already, didn't he? You're a total shoe-in for success. Don't go screwing it up now. We'll be counting on you too. Is this a prince, by the way? I think this is a prince. I can't really tell. Some water. Deck 3. Deck 3. Center Center Medical Care Facility. It's an emergency. It's an emergency. Deliver these to number 2. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go get a soldier to the pharmacy. It's 200 boxes of antihistamines on the top shelf of C. On the top shelves of C. On the top of shelf C. And 150 of diphenadol on top of shelf D of shelf C. Make sure you keep refilling them so no row runs out. And stay on top of all our staff numbers. Customers flooded in and are fighting over purchases. Got it. Wait, so where are they? Where are these guys? Oh, they're on the first deck. Oh yeah, it's because it's for VIPs. Okay. So Cheadle's on the third floor, and she's the head. I'm surprised the head honcho's on the first floor. Deck 3, Central Courthouse. That is pretty freaking big. He has a judgment hammer. He has guns. And this is a military freaking martial law, military occupation. You're not gonna get over on these guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Deck 4, Cotton Royal Troops meeting room. It's Woody. That guy's anorexic. All his blood's been drained out. He didn't report in a reg in at his regular time, so he went to check on him and found him like this. The stall wasn't locked, but to be honest, I don't really lock the bathroom stall behind myself either. The time of death is estimated 12:15 and 12:30. Wow, they already lost somebody. How did he even die? His blood was sucked out. Was his body like transported here? Because like, doesn't the Phantom Troop member have that vacuum? But I don't see her killing this guy. There's no way. 12:15 and 12:30. There wasn't any trace of evidence of any intruders, was there? Nope, none at all. Which unfortunately means the suspect is someone from inside this area. There's still something else it could be. I'm going to take off his clothes. Whoa. What the heck is that? What's that guy's name, by the way? Woody. That's funny. Just from looking at the situation, seems like some type of nen attack was used. For what I'm about to do next, I want all of you to answer me truthfully. There's a high probability that the assailant was a nen user from the outside. If any of you here can use nen, speak up. Nen, is that some kind of superpower? Use it. This is the first time I've ever heard of it. Are you sure this isn't the work of some strange creature? The situation is even worse than I thought. Using my chains here would be risky. I can understand the royal guards feigning ignorance here, but it's incomprehensible for these hunters to be acting this way. If they had taken the initiative and started working together here, and the royal guards might have given us their support. Okay, there's something going on here. I gotta get to the bottom of it. The situation here is even worse than I thought. Using my trains here could be risky because he could be giving off some of his abilities, or somebody here could be an inside informant for another royal guard or whatever. I can understand the royal guards feigning ignorance here, but it's just incomprehensible for these hunters to be acting this way. If they had taken the initiative and started working together here, the royal guards might have given us their support. What? What is happening? Like, am I missing something? Think. Think, brain, think. What does he mean? Just from looking at the situation, it seems like some type of nin attack was used. For what I'm about to do next, I want all of you to answer me truthfully. There's a high probability that the assailant was a nin user from the outside. If any of you here can use nin, speak up. Nin, is that some kind of superpower? Use it. This is the first time I've ever heard of it. Are you sure this isn't the work of some kind of creature? So Kurapika thinks that these guys are lying. He thinks that these guys are sweating, so these guys are lying. Or he has like some intuition that makes him think they're lying. So the royal guards do know about Nin. They're just lying. It's incomprehensible for these hunters to be acting this way. If they had taken the initiative and started working together here, the royal guards might have given us their support. So I think what he's saying is that like there's the people that are not the royal guards, which aren't these people, are the hunters that were picked up. And um it seems like Kurapika just doesn't have enough legitimacy. Estimated time of death. Someone from outside the area. Yeah, Kurapika just doesn't have legitimacy among the royal guards, which means there's some people that support him, or maybe they're just they're being compliant and they're not trying to make any chaos or cause any uproar. They're really kind of being stoic and they're not really participating like he is. So I think that's what he means when he says they would have given them their support. They would have given us their support. He means that they don't have enough legitimacy. Kurapika and the hunters don't have enough legitimacy. So it's entirely possible that one of the royal guards, committed the act. Or it was somebody outside. And they're just an informant, I'm assuming. It's almost time for you two to head for the ceremony hall. The corpse will be headed over to the Royal Army. From now on, try to always move together, with people around you, never alone. Why didn't you speak up? Okay. Although it's true, Nen is a confidential matter for the association. You know very well that this is an emergency situation that comes before that secrecy. If we aren't quick to respond, then get we won't be able to get through what's ahead. Also, you need legitimacy. You literally need legitimacy among your circle, probably. Conversely, I'd like to ask you something now. Why would you bring up the topic of Nin among those people? What did you say? Our mission is limited to the protection of the king, of the queen, and the prince. That there was clearly an internal matter for the Kakin army, wasn't it? That there was clearly an internal matter for the Kakin. What? What does that mean? Our mission is limited to the protection of the queen and the prince. That there was clearly an internal matter for the Kakin army, wasn't it? We only have to protect the queen and the prince. And this isn't our business. The fact that somebody died is not our business. Our only job is to protect the queen and the prince. It can't be. If there were any Nen users present among the troops, then us speaking up would have had the opposite effect. It would have been tantamount to us declaring our intent to stick our necks into private disputes and affairs of Kaken. The only reason why they didn't step up is because one, uh they're saying that their only purpose there is to be protectors of the prince and the queen. The fact that it's an internal matter for the Kaken army means that the fact that a bodyguard died is not their problem, and they're supposed to masquerade as though it's not their problem because it could potentially put a target on their back if there's somebody who knows about Nen, and they might try to take them out. If there were any Neners among the troops, then us speaking up would have had the opposite effect. It would have been tantamount to us declaring our intent to stick our necks into private disputes and affairs of Kaken. Yeah, so like I said, they're not if they're not following if people think that they can become more of a threat, like they're gonna look into like these matters more than um more than they need to, then their lives may come into jeopardy. So Kurapika might have actually made a mistake here. There's a high probability that the assailant was a Nen user coming outside. But he's also doing this to gain legitimacy among the group, I'm assuming. That, like, he's honest, he's doing the best he can to protect his group, I'm assuming. If we just focus on our mission, we won't get wrapped up in any of that. They haven't been informed about the succession war. Oh, they don't know about it. That makes sense. You all didn't apply. You all didn't for. You all didn't you apply for these positions at the official Cocken site? Of course we applied. We entered the site. Of course we applied and entered the site. You're talking about the face-to-face interview. We were exempted from that. Unlike you, after the voyage was announced, we got in touch with Cocken about everything. We went through the entry process just for the formality's sake. That's why we know much more about the complex situation between the royal family and troops than you do. It seems the queen may have taken a bit of liking to you, but that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. Which means through Pariston, and he didn't tell them about the succession war, which means it's safe to assume Pariston doesn't know about it either. Yeah, he thinks that like Kurapika is like stepping on fine lines. He doesn't know anything about what's going on, which is that like the princes are in threat of being killed, and Kurapika is the only person that knows that. So then the only one who knows about the whole situation that's been recruited here is me. Okay, let's go, Kurapika. I mean, you have the same methodology. I do respect this freaking anime, man. So much logic and stuff like that. Ceremonial hall. Queen Oito, it's your turn to leave your seat. So everyone's participating in this departure ceremony. which means it'll be a 14-man battle royale. Although the king and the royal guard is watching over this, they really are underestimating me. It would be absolutely foolish for anyone to try and get me, the first prince out of the way, to become king. They will be met with execution. And if any of the other princes should wind up getting killed, well, I can think of that as my own good luck. So he has the most legitimacy, he has the most political prominence. So nobody's gonna go after him. He's too powerful. They'll probably go after the lower ranked princes first. I will not be killed so easily. I really do respect his confidence though. He's pretty smart too, seems like. He's not like that stupid. Serenich called him stupid, like he's like a meathead. I mean he kinda is, I mean. But he is still pretty smart. He understands his own position that he's very prominent, very powerful. That there's gonna be some other people that are be going after him. There's a king and Benjamin, Srednich, this person, Camilla. I've never seen this one. She has her hair actually in a tie. Lady Kacho, it's your turn to leave your seat. Alright, let's go, Fu. Ah, but we had agreed to leave our seats one at a time. Come on, she's just seeing me off to the connecting corridor. Yeah. Besides, the two of us have some girl talk to go over. That's right. Ho ho ho, those two really do get along so well. We might end up we might even end up with two kings. Cameras and surveillance. They probably wanted to make some alliance or talk to each other about something. They're just putting on a facade that like they're just, being girly or whatever. But they're trying to survive. Ka. I was thinking about the succession war. So she wasn't paying attention. She saw the camera. So she's more vigilant. She's more vigilant than she is. Thinking about succession war. But she whispers into her ear, "Don't go saying my fucking name so casually, idiot. Now listen up. Let's work together and kill off all the other princes. When we're done and it's just the two of us left, I'll ask Papa to let you live. Tell your guards to cooperate with mine. You understand. Smile shit for brains. The cameras are watching us." Yeah, she's not built for this. She's too passive. She's too compliant. She's too. She's probably gonna say like, "Oh yeah, I want out of this," and she wants into it. All right, Fufu, it's a promise, Kay. I heard it all. She's terrifying. Tell Papa to move that old geezer's seat from the RJ Foundation away from mine. He kept giving me these pervy stares the whole time. It was totally gross. Yes, milady. This girl, her entire self, is a lie. So she's a liar. So she's probably actually pretty scared, like she is. So they're probably both scared. It's just that she's just lying. Oh gosh, dang, the freaking bodyguards are freaking down. What the hell happened here? I don't know. We all had our preparation responsibilities to see to. Who was the last one to see them? It was their scheduled report time 15 minutes ago. I didn't see them, but they reported nothing out of the ordinary. We has a gun, man. I forgot about this. Step back, Your Highness. All of you move to the living room. I'm going to tell you everything I know. Now, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. If you lie, this chain will spin. If it spins, I shoot. The steam whistle of departure was the starting for the gun. Was the starting gun for the killing game. So Kirby is very expedient. Like he's moving pretty quickly. I really want to watch this next chapter because like I can't just leave on a cliffhanger. But yeah, the other Hunters Association guards, they just don't know about the succession war. I wonder if that would change their opinion about how to handle the situation. Because this is clearly a dangerous situation. Oh gosh, 360. All right, we'll stop at 360. Parasite. A death match between the princes. That's completely absurd. It's unbelievable. It's the truth. Why do you suppose the royal guards cleaned up the corpse without so much as an examination? Where's our proof that those chains of yours are real? Why don't you test it out for yourself? Risk of an internal split. So now they know the succession war is commenced. Did you know about the succession war? I had no idea. I can hardly even believe it now. I found I only found out I was coming here right before I actually came. I'm just the queen's assistant. Answer one at a time, and that will make it much simpler. I knew. I knew too. Yeah, Kurapika figured. He was already suspicious of these guys. He was already suspicious that they knew Nen, so he was probably already suspicious of them. I did not. Neither did I. Same here. I did not know. Now I'm going to ask you two. Are you allies of Prince Wobble? We are not. Guess not exactly. Shoot them. Oh gosh, this is freaking going. This is already adventurous. Two traitors? Yes, not exactly. Shoot them. Wait a second. Shoot them both right now. Let's explain. Please stay calm, Queen Oito. Please listen to please listen to what I have to say, Queen Oito. The information they have will be extremely valuable to our survival. We can shoot them if they refuse to cooperate. The 5 people that died weren't on Prince Wobble's side either, were they? Yeah, they were all working for different people. Different people. The royal family assigned 7 bodyguards to Prince Wobble. Why do you suppose they chose 7? The number of princes apart from Queen Wobble, Queen Oito. The number of princes apart from Queen Oito. Okay, that makes sense. Which of the princes were using their bodyguards to keep tabs on her, to make sure that none of the lower ranked princes and queens thought of rising up against them? Each of the princes were using their bodyguards to keep tabs on her, to make sure that none of the lower ranked princes and queens thought of rising up against them. So even throughout, even though she's not very, even though she doesn't have a lot of political power or even military power, they're still pretty scared of her because you know they think that she's gonna want their spot. They think that they think that the higher queens and the higher princes think that she might be ambitious and want to be more prominent within the royal family. So this succession war could be a tool to become for her to become more prominent, her to become more bloody and all that. And like I said on that one video, I don't know which video it was, but like I said before, they were using Kurapika figured that they were using or no, sorry, the what's her name? Queen Oito, Kurapika's queen, figured out that they would probably use the bodyguard sign in to try to assassinate the princess. Um, and she was right. She was right. She ended up being correct. Every time the king had a new wife, the number of bodyguards would increase, but the upper ranked queens and princes wouldn't ever have the lower ranked ones keeping surveillance on them. So when a new prince is added, she becomes the lowest ranked, and the previous lowest ranked queen is then at last able to add one real bodyguard to her entourage, along with every queen ranked above her. So when a new prince is added, she becomes the lowest ranked. She becomes the lowest ranked, and the previous lowest ranked queen is then at last able to add one real bodyguard to her entourage, along with every queen ranked above her. 11th Prince Pugetsu. 2 bodyguards chosen by Queen Seko. 5 surveillance bodyguards. Oh, wow. That's absolutely crazy. So she doesn't even get real bodyguards? Are you serious? That's trash. This means Queen Oito, who happens to be the lowest ranked of all, has not yet had this system explained to her. So there's a structure of surveillance bodyguards. Unma Swinko Swinko. Chosen Queen Unma Swinko Swinko. So I'm assuming that the queens have like a different. I'm assuming that the queens have a lot more power than I thought they did. Chosen by Queen Seiko. Yeah, they have a lot more power than what I thought. So I'm assuming getting in good graces with the queen allows you to have more favorable bodyguards. But considering that Queen Oito doesn't have her own bodyguards. Her own bodyguards are being assigned by other queens, the higher rank queens that want her out. But that means that she's actually the most dangerous because none of her bodyguards are going to be loyal to her. And also she doesn't have like children to be loyal to in the first place. She just has wobble. She just doesn't have enough. It's true that our mission is to ensure the safety of the Prince Wobble, but there was the condition that we do so while ensuring that no threat comes to the safety of our own client or their own prince. You understand, don't you? With the succession war, the circumstances have completely changed. The mere existence of other princes is a threat to their own safety now. So does this mean your client has given you an order to assassinate Prince Wobble? No, 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 of course not. If the queen gave an order like that, she'd be imprisoned. Just because the succession war has started does not mean everything has just completely fallen has just fallen into complete lawlessness and anarchy. But King Kakin gave his approval for the succession war, didn't he? Yes, but he never said anything about giving amnesty or immunity to princes killing other princes. That's why, until someone actually died here, I was only half convinced of it being true. Just because the succession war has started does not mean that everything has fallen into anarchy and lawlessness. So he just never thought that the king would. He just never thought that the king would support the princes killing each other. I thought maybe it could be some kind of drastic measure to try to improve the bloodthirst between the queens and the princes. Like to try and show the princes the great difficulties and risks that are involved in actually planning out an assassination. I mean, killing a prince is a serious offense. I just couldn't fathom that this could be real. But when I saw that corpse and heard you talking about nin abilities, my thinking changed. The succession war is really beginning. Yeah, he just, like I said, he just didn't think it was possible. He was being naive. But it's not being fought by us and some private soldiers. It's being fought by the princes themselves. What are you talking about? You went through the parasite egg jar ceremony, didn't you? That was certainly a ritual to endow you with nin abilities. That old pot, that's some stupid legend, a tradition. Please be calm. For now, if we accept what he's saying to be true, then, as for young Prince Wobble's nin ability, it's very likely that it's some kind of power that activates itself through his own self defense instinct, which means your anxiety can become a danger to all of us. If you become alarmed and uneasy, it's highly possible that we could be attacked automatically. So please try and stay calm as possible. This is this is only this is only a theory based on what I've heard so far. But the way is but the way it is now, it's impossible for us to distinguish whether or not it was an enemy or an ally that was attacked. Wow. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, so Kirby is making it seem like the Wobble was actually the one that killed the bodyguard and then killed, or like put leeches in that put leeches in that one guy and threw him into that closet. Which I don't know why. I don't know why the prince would do that, or like he's doing it subconsciously. I don't know why the Nin Beast would do that. Throw him into the closet. I don't think he would do that. If anything, I feel like the bodyguards that were on the floor. I feel like the bodyguards that were dead. I feel like those guys were more likely to be killed by the Nin Beast because they just dropped dead in the hallway. But it's impossible to tell. So far, it's impossible for us to tell who killed what and who did what. It's reasonable to think that one of the bodyguards, seeing a prime opportunity, decided to act independently. And upon sensing his killing intent, Prince Wobble acted in his own defense. It's also reasonable to assume that the other princes would have targeted the youngest and weakest prince, starting by taking down the guards around him. But there's still the question of the learning process. Nen normally takes a great amount of time in order to master. Around when was the ceremony performed? A little over a month ago. Indeed, going off your theory, that would be too short of a time after acquiring Nen. This is not something that could have been pulled off by a human who had just learned Nen. No, it wouldn't be impossible for a parasite type. Parasite type. Yeah, in which case that would go along with the ceremony explanation. Guys, can you see that? Whoa. Calm down. It might react to you. You guys, you can't see them, can you? See what? What are you talking about? Explain yourself. What is there? Can you see them, Your Highness? What? I don't see anything strange at all. Very well, then stay behind me. What the hell? Is this for real? Those guys are probably stressed out. So these are Kurapika's only allies. Like these guys are the only people that are independent. What is this? A dragon just comes out of a wall? A freaking hamster? Mouse? Some like tentacle ball? Are you free? Nods. I'm kind of busy right now. Up, look up. Wah. What the? The beginning of the Succession War. Probably everyone's probably out to measure each other's abilities and see how they stack up. It's too chaotic. We're way too defenseless here. Someone must be controlling them, but they don't appear like they're being controlled at all. The parasite egg jar. It's goo. The parasite egg jar ceremony. So it's goo. Emergency. Everyone use the common channel. This is Kurapika from the Hunters Association. Multiple unidentified Nen beasts have appeared in Area 14. Give me reports from every area. What's going on over there? Melody. This is Melody. Nothing strange in Area 10. This is Biscuit. There were Nen beasts here, but presently there is nothing abnormal in Area 13. So does this mean that Prince Mariam's Nen beasts are coming here? So it could be Melody's Nen beasts or whatever. Biscuit, how's the prince? Is he okay? Nothing abnormal, conscious, alive, and well. How about over there? Conscious. What if they're not conscious of it? Maybe they themselves aren't even aware of their abilities that were awakened in them from the parasite egg jar ceremony. So does does that mean this death match will unfold all on its own? Hang on, but if they're not conscious of it, then that doesn't quite add up. If their ability has been awakened, then at the very least they should be able to see the Nenbis. Biscuit are the only ones there that can see the Nenbis, the Hunters Association members. Of course, the bodyguards, the attendants, and the prince himself are unable to see them. I believe it's a parasite nin tape. Your Highness, this way. Bill, is this parasite type nin ability something like a curse? Yes, it utilizes its host's aura to invoke its abilities and materialize in different forms. They can act without their hosts being aware, and what's more, their host can't even control them. There are some that protect their hosts and some that even attack. Which means it doesn't matter even if their host can or can't use Nin, but it's convenient if they can't. That way, no matter how much aura they suck up, their host body will be unaware and feel nothing apart from their whole body growing tired and fatigued. This mission is far more dangerous than any of you thought. If you're going to resign now, this is the time to say so. So this must be Wobble's Nin type, Nin ability then. But it's impossible to tell. So maybe this is what. So I think the bodyguards were actually killed by the Nin beast. If you were a hunter, then at least you can patrol deck 2 for me. That shouldn't get in the way of your real mission. I already told you earlier. Our mission is to protect the prince and queen. No matter how much danger presents itself, that is no reason to abandon a mission. But since the situation has worsened, the circumstances between us have also changed. In order to protect the prince and the queen, the two of us need to exchange information, right? What's this guy's name again? Bill. That's his name. All right. So they're trying to get up and they're trying to get some espionage going, get some information going and all that, so that they can gain more knowledge of their enemy. Curry Peak is trying to send this guy to go patrol. Looks like they are finally gone. Those Nimbys are really nasty. Have they all disappeared? At least from this room, anyway. Then let me know when you're free. Okay? Okay? What the hell is this thing following me? So then, your original goal was to explore the Dark Continent along with Master Beyond, but don't go neglecting your mission here on the voyage for that. I won't. So Kurapika's lying right now. His actual goal is to kill the prince, the fourth prince, but he's obviously not going to say that because it's illegal to say that. He would be locked up immediately. So he's masquerading that. He's lying. I wonder what would have happened if he fulfills this condition. Because it seems like this Ninbeast is asking when you're free. Like it's trying to kill him or something. I wonder what happens if he fulfills a condition and says he is free. He's probably dead instantly or something. But your situation is even more problematic. If making contact with Seredinish is part of your mission, that's clearly an action that would put you in danger and contradict the mission here, right? The Queen has accepted this condition of mine. Of course, I've put plenty of planning into her safety. You haven't been building up much trust with these people around here, and the guards aren't likely to go along with what you're proposing. The safety of the Queen and Prince comes first and foremost. Then let me ask you this. What are you trying to gain from this safety and the mission you're proposing? So he's saying like, how are you going to keep them safe? How are you going to keep them safe? If you are trying to enforce the rule that was given, safety must be maintained within this ship. This situation is already far away from that. Yeah, because people are already dead. Like the rules are obviously not going to work. They're not going to keep you safe if you're dead. Wouldn't helping the prince and queen escape the succession war be the safest option? In that case, we can do that too. As of now, we have three possible courses of action. Your Highness, please take your time and calmly go over your options. Ha ha ha. Your Highness, stay close to me. What the frick? Are they dead? What the Get back. What happened? He grabbed the knife out of nowhere and stabbed those three. Cyrid, why would you do this? I was free. I so it asked me to. Don't move. But it asked me to. Stop or I'll shoot. Wait. I want to capture him alive, but it'd probably be hard to incapacitate a hunter with a 22 caliber with a 22 caliber. Look after the queen for me. I'll stop him. Well, now I know what happens if you say you're free. It freaking possesses you. Why would you ever? Is this guy not a nin user? Like, why would you fulfill his condition? He's clearly asking you that question for a reason. Why would you fulfill that condition? That guy's just not a smart nin user. He's just not a smart nin user. There's no way he just did that. I can't believe he fell for that. That's that guy's trash. That guy's trash. Like Kurapika was smart enough not to, or like it didn't look like the. This is probably Wobble's Ninbeast, probably. I'm assuming it's Wobble's Ninbeast. Because the parasite doesn't target Kurapika. It doesn't target Kurapika and it doesn't target. And it doesn't target Bill. Yeah. It doesn't target Kurapika and it doesn't target Bill. I don't know this other guy's name. I wonder what his name is. That's so trash, man. There's no way he did that. He's so trash. Oh man, I'll stop right here. This was pretty good. It's very action packed. Oh man. Wow, that's absolutely insane though. Like the queens are in more danger because they can't choose their own bodyguards, the lower rank queens. And then they're hand selected by like the other bodyguards are hand selected by uh higher queens who obviously want to eliminate the lower queens because they could become a threat to them because they want like more prominence. I thought that was lit, Loki. And just them interrogating Kurapika interrogating everybody. Pulled out the 22 caliber, threatened to shoot them. He probably threatened to shoot them uh because not everybody can use Nen. Not everybody can use Nen, so they have to like see an actual threat. Oh, that's lit. I can't wait for the next episode. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace out.